Hey guys, welcome to Dead Space. Dead Space is one of my favorite games of all time. If you haven't seen it before or played it before, it's an absolute treat. I love the survival horror genre in general, but Dead Space is one of my favorites amongst them all. Without a doubt, probably my top game that came out on the Xbox 360. So, today, we're gonna start Dead Space, and we're in the process gonna talk a little bit about Infection. So, I played Dead Space before a couple of times, so we're going to start off on hard difficulty. Now, Infection, as it pertains to Dead Space and zombie-like things, is a little bit different. When you think Infection with media, you think like zombie movies or, like pandemic movies. But in fact, infections are part of everyday life. Infections can come in all shapes and sizes, and they're caused by many different things. Strictly speaking, an infection is considered an invasion of your body tissues by any disease-causing agent. Usually, these disease-causing agents multiply through reproduction, and the reaction of your tissues to those foreign bodies is what causes disease or issues with the infection.
I'm sorry about everything.
Now, many diseases known as infectious diseases, what they mean by that is that these diseases are communicable. They're transferable from person to person. And how diseases transfer can be varied. Some, like the cold, can be transmitted through fluid droplets, which can get out any number of ways. Saliva, tears, particularly the tiny saliva droplets that you emit when you cough, or the tiny mucus droplets that you emit when you sneeze. Those are great ways, and those minuscule droplets can carry, hundreds or thousands of viruses in one tiny itty-bitty droplet, small enough that you couldn't even see it.
Is a gold mine according to
But
prospectors' reports.
that goes everywhere, and they stay alive.
Silicon, osmium.
They land on stuff, and
Now,
they'll be alive
where is
for
she?
quite a while.
There she is. We have visual contact.
So that's Ishimura. Impressive.
The USG Ishimura. Biggest planet cracker in her class. And it looks like they already popped the cork.
Why is it all dark? I don't see any running lights.
Corporal, take us in closer and hail them. And stay clear of that debris field. We're here to fix their ship, not the other way around.
USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellion responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura.
You're gonna need to boost the signal if it power's low.
Yes, we know. Boost the signal. More.
Never heard of a total communications blackout on one of these things. You'd think with 1,000 people on board, someone would pick up the phone.
What is that?
It's a busted array like we thought. Sounds like they're having problems with their encoder. You get us down there and Isaac and I can fix it. 48 hours max.
All right, you heard the lady. Take us in. Let's see what needs fixing.
Gravity tethers engaged. Automatic docking procedures a go.
What the hell?
Sir, the auto dock.
What is it?
We're off track. We're gonna hit the hull.
Hit the blast shields. Their guidance tether's damaged. Switch to manual, now.
Inside the magnetic field? Are you insane? Abort!
No! We can make it inside. Corporal, I gave you an order.
The field's too strong.
Is everyone okay?
What? What the hell were you thinking? Were you trying to get us killed?
I just saved our asses, Miss Daniels. If we had aborted at that speed and distance, we'd have smashed right into the side of the Ishimura. Now settle down, let's get to work. Corporal, report.
I'm not getting any readings from the port booster, and we've lost comms and autopilot. It'll take some time to fix.
All right, let's get some extra hands from flight deck to help out.
Hold still, Isaac. I'm syncing up everyone's rig with the ship. Okay, we're done. Clean bill of health for everyone.
All right. We've still got a job to do. We're moving out.
Awesome, so we're right into it. So, I probably shouldn't have been talking over the cutscenes, and that's my bad. So I'll summarize for you, basically. Isaac's girlfriend, she is on this ship that we've come to investigate. We lost contact, the company who owns the ship, which is a mining ship called the Ishimura,
You didn't lose
lost
power to the
contact
port
with
booster.
it.
You lost the port
and
booster.
so they sent...
Unbelievable.
They sent our ship that just crashed, landed, to go investigate why they hadn't heard from the Ishimura. So Isaac's coming to find his girlfriend. And the rest of the crew is here for probably other personal reasons, but they're all here to try and figure out what went wrong with the Ishimura.
Get over here and hack the door
It
pad.
holds the record for highest number of planet cracks, with 34 today.
Look for blue holograms to activate.
At 14 trillion kilotons and counting. Whether you'll be joining us for the Ishimura or straight to the extraction workforce of the colony, the captain and crew would like to welcome you, and we hope your stay is a pleasant one. Concordance Extraction Company, powering humanity into the future.
Seems like everyone was trying to pack in a hurry.
There should be a security detail in here.
Yeah? Well, there's not. There's nobody here. I can't pick up any broadcasts.
But that security console's still live. Isaac, log in and see what you can find. Kendra, get that elevator back online.
Power's dead. I can't.
Then reroute the damn power! Look, if we all cooperate, we can figure this out a lot sooner. Let's get that computer display up, Isaac.
Use the locator system to find your next objective.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna try my best not to talk through any of the cutscenes or audio logs or stuff like that. So if I cut off mid-sentence, weirdly, that's why I'm gonna be doing that.
Huh.
If
Doesn't look
it's
good.
too inconvenient, feel free to let me know.
Damage.
The tram system's offline. Getting around's gonna be difficult. The air seems to be flowing again. That's a start.
What the hell was that?
Automatic quarantine must have tripped when the filtration system restarted. Everybody relax.
What was that? Did you hear that?
Not sure.
The hell?
I don't know. Something's in the room with us.
Jesus! Open fire! Open fire! Get the power!
And punch.
Come on. Come on. Got it!
God, these guys are terrible shots.
The door's unlocked! Run!
Time to haul ass.
Run, Isaac! Get the hell out of there!
This is not a scripted cutscene. It's gameplay. Which means that if you stay behind, you will die. Oh. Not dead yet. Hey, no. And that's what I call disarming your opponent. Ah. Yep. I hope you like puns, folks, 'cause you're in for a lot. So, back to Infection, which is going to be at least the main topic for these first couple of episodes, I think.
Use melee to
Because
knock back an enemy for a quicker escape.
Infection is everywhere. in our lives. You know, from the common flu to strep throat to cellulitis, which, if you don't know, is a bacterial infection in the skin, which causes your skin to become inflamed and filled with fluid. So it causes massive fluid-related swelling. So cellulitis patients can have arms that double or triple in size. They become heavy and difficult to move, which means that they need to go in to the hospital and have this fluid drained via a needle that's stuck into their skin and a syringe, and they literally just extract it by pulling the fluid out through a needle. It's really interesting stuff. Now, this weapon we have, probably the best weapon in the game, in my opinion, is the plasma cutter. So, it shoots a laser along those 3 lines, like you saw, and it can be adjusted to fire vertically or horizontally. Great for chopping off limbs as needed. Now, let's see. Come on. Let's see. I should have enough. Yeah, I've got plenty of space. Why isn't it letting me pick this up? There we go. About to say. It's about to have a conversation with this. Alrighty, so we got everything from in here. Like you can see, the best way to kill these enemies is to cut off their limbs, which is why I was aiming for that guy's legs. Probably my favorite thing to do. Chop off the legs, chop off the arms. Faster way to kill him. Yeah, it's been about 7 or 8 years since I played any of the Dead Space games. The last one I played was Dead Space 3, the last DLC when it came out. I think that was about 7 years ago. I could be wrong about that. I could be very wrong about that. My sense of time's always a little off. But yeah, Infection. I'm sort of jumping around all over the place today. Infection. Okay. So, Infection's everywhere. And it affects probably everyone you know. There are 5 basic instigators, 5 basic things that cause different kinds of infection, or 5 types of infection, as you want to call it. There's a viral infection, which are caused by viruses like the flu. There's bacterial infection, which, like most of your STDs, are either viruses or bacteria. Strep throat is a great example of a bacterial infection. The bacteria gets in there, causes it to get inflamed, swell, which can be dangerous because that infected tissue can then swell up to the point where it might cause difficulty breathing, or it can lead to a greater infection. And we'll talk about how your body fights off infection after we finish covering these. Fungal infections are pretty common, especially amongst athletes and first responders. They'll tell you a lot. If you talk to anybody, police, fire, EMS, they'll tell you that the worst thing to get is a specific kind of foot infection that's caused by fungus. It's an infection of the toenails that causes them to swell up to like 2 or 3 times their normal size. They become hugely thick and extremely sensitive to like rubbing, which is really, really awful in our line of work. Mostly because, you know, we're walking around all day in heavy boots. The main thing that causes fungal infections, or I should say the ideal things that cause fungal infections, like athlete's foot or the toenail inflammation infection I was talking about, are moist, humid areas. That's a great way to get a fungal infection, or moist, humid areas, especially like your armpits or your shoes, your feet. If you don't regularly replace your socks or air your shoes out, that's a great place to get a fungal infection. I've had bariatric patients. For those of you who don't know, bariatric patients are patients that are considered morbidly obese. Bariatric patients with folds of skin that they roll over, and just underneath there they're sweating, and it's tight and damp and perfect. So they get these fungal infections within these folds, and the skin becomes raw and irritated, and sometimes it'll even open up, it'll tear, it'll become sore. You'll get like mold almost looking fungus. Fungus isn't technically mold, but you'll get something that looks sort of like a mold in these severe fungal infection areas. Protozoa, like amoebas, if you drink water, particularly in like less civilized areas of the United States, civilized is not the right word, less advanced areas of the United States, or like countries that don't have proper ways of filtering their water, you can get an amoeba infection, which if you ingest an amoeba into your body, causes what's known as dysentery. Dysentery is terrible. Lots of settlers going to Oregon during the Great Expansion died of dysentery because the water there was filled with amoebas. So they drink the river water, they'd get dysentery, and they would die of fluid loss, because dysentery causes massive diarrhea and vomiting, just huge amounts of fluid loss. And I just realized I've been talking so much I stopped playing the game.
Around the ship. Stay away from down. Get back. Get back.
I'm still sort of getting used to this whole playing the talking thing. It was a little bit easier with the Fallout, because I could point and click and just mindlessly talk.
God, I can't believe you made it.
Isaac. We ran
hey,
through all of them
what's
on
up,
the way over
buddies?
here. Are you okay?
More what? What the hell are those things? Is that the crew?
Keep your voice down. Whatever they are, they're not friendly, and half the doors on this ship are locked because of the quarantine. Now, we have to get to the bridge. But first, we gotta repair the tram system.
You're crazy, Hammond. You're gonna get us all killed.
If you listen to me, I will get you out of here alive. Now, what's wrong with the tram?
The data board is fried, but there should be a spare in the maintenance bay. There's also a broken tram blocking the tunnel that needs to be repaired. Damn it! Everything is on the other side of this quarantine. We can't reach it from here.
No, we can't. But you can. Isaac, if I can get to the bridge, I should be able to access the personnel files. You fix the tram, and I'll help you find Nicole.
Use the map screen to check objectives and important
Yeah, so that probably wasn't the most engaging gameplay ever. Sorry about that, guys. But hopefully you're learning. And I think that's the main reason of why I'm doing this, is I want to educate. I want to entertain. But, education is important. Especially, with the general public. Stuff that, as a medical professional, I think is obvious, like stuff that I thought made, everyone knew, especially when I was first getting into EMS. It turned out was not common knowledge, you have a lot of first-time parents who are unsure how to take care of a child getting the flu for the first time, or, people, with a chronic condition that they haven't figured out how to treat exactly. Diabetics who don't understand the concept of monitoring their sugar intake and taking their insulin at a regular intervals. So part of what I'm doing here is to educate. Alright, buddy. So now you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna fire at his leg. Chop that off. Knock off his arm. And then, if he's still alive, you can come up and start stomping on him. Alrighty. So, the last, and I know I'm jumping around here, it's probably going to be like this. I'm sort of an off-the-wall kind of a guy anyway, and you'll find that out as we get to know each other, hopefully. All of y'all and me. Alright, we'll save.
This is Benson, Tram Engineering. We think
And
we figured it out. Smith killed one. Listen, forget about shooting him in the body. You gotta cut off the limbs. Grab a cutter, anything like that. Cut him apart.
Alright, so that's pretty much what I was saying. The last type of major infection that we will be covering is
Isaac,
parasite infection,
Shooting
like
them in the body
malaria
doesn't seem to
or
work.
worms.
Go for the limbs. Dismember them. That should do the job.
Conserve ammo by dismembering enemy limbs and doing extra damage.
I get it. Man, they really want to hammer that home, huh? Alrighty. Let's go ahead and see what we can find. Money! Money, money, money! Alrighty, money, money, money. So. Spooky sound. Now this is one of my favorite gameplay mechanics. And it's definitely going to be useful
Looks like that door is
later on.
malfunctioning, Isaac.
Oh, it'll be useful to us right away.
Just picked up.
Alright, so you can use stasis to slow objects and, more importantly, enemies. Which is great if you're being overrun. You can target a single enemy, slow him down, take care of the guy in front of you, and then the other guy will speed back up. And you can take care of him too. Stasis is a great thing. I'm so glad they put it in the game. It's got a number of puzzle-solving applications too, as you'll see. But yeah, parasite infections, so like worms, malaria, which is also caused by a kind of parasite. Now, parasital infections are probably one of the most severe, at least initially, because the problem with a parasite is that it's a living organism, so it will continue to reproduce and grow inside your body. Parasites usually are slow acting, or slower acting, you know. It takes longer for us to recognize a parasital infection than other kinds, because it takes them a little bit longer to reproduce than, say, a virus, which reproduces on a cellular level, or a bacteria, which reproduces on like a single cell level. But with parasites, they're much harder to get rid of because you have to either surgically remove them or take medication that targets and kills the parasite. And if you know, even if you kill all the parasites, if there are any eggs or embryos left, that will just renew the infection too. So yeah, parasites is scary. Also, the symptoms of a parasital infection can sometimes take months or even years to show up. Malaria in particular, there's a kind of malaria, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, but there's a type of malaria that only comes seasonally. So like once a year, the malaria infection symptoms will pop up. Heal there. Probably didn't need to use that health pack, to be honest, but playing on a computer is a little bit trickier than playing on there we go. So now you can see what I'm talking about with the stasis. But still getting used to this whole keyboard, mouse and keyboard thing. The sensitive
autoloader is fried. I need a stasis module brought down here now. We'll get this piece of shit off the tracks. It's gonna jam up the whole system.
Replacing damaged tram car. Please stand by.
If I remember
Isaac,
correctly,
you did it.
I think I
The
get
tram is
bum
blocking
rushed
the whole
from both
system.
directions.
When you get the computer online, you'll be able to call the tram from the control room. Faster the better. I can hear something crawling around out there.
Tram replacement complete.
Alrighty. We got half of the train. We got the tram up. Totally replaced. These stasis charges you can abuse the hell out of because they've got an unlimited amount. I think they changed that in the second game, but for this one, yeah, you could just abuse the hell out of that. Nope. So that's a little preview of my least favorite enemy in the game. God, I hate those things so much. They're like a little triangle dog looking things. Yeah, so we've covered today infection, what it is, what kinds there are, and what some of the examples of that are. Hopefully you learned something today, you enjoyed a little bit of the gameplay, and you have yourself a wonderful day.